You didn't hit record? How do you deal with I'm talking major, huge challenges in your business? You know, as an entrepreneur, if you can overcome those what seem like insurmountable challenges, if you can always have that confidence, and if you can be the leader that people turn to when things go bad and they're not scared to share that with you, it can create an incredible opportunity for you and your company. Most people shy away. Most people fail because they didn't decide to step up to the plate. And I get it, man. It's tough. Sometimes you just feel like, man, you'd rather sit at home, go into your bedroom, hide under the covers, and watch 3 days of Netflix. I get it. It happens sometimes. But what I want to share with you guys is when those moments come up. And for me, it was really when I was building Flowtown and we were meeting with VCs and we were having these conversations, and one day we show up to an investor meeting, and on the cover of the New York Times there was an article about Facebook privacy issues, and somebody did this whole expose around really nefarious companies, gaming companies, using Facebook data to do privacy hacks on customers. Now, we were not doing that, but our product, Flowtown at the time, was tied to the Facebook API. And essentially this article was arguing that Facebook's going to need to change their API to make it compliant and fix this privacy issue. And we go into the meeting with the investor, and as soon as we talk about our product and what we do, the investor goes, hey, that Facebook article in the New York Times, does that affect you guys? And we were like, no, it doesn't affect us at all. Little did we know, that afternoon we got an email from Facebook directly saying that the API calls that we were using within 2 months were going to be discontinued, which essentially made our whole product go to zero. It was one of the biggest blows I've ever had in my business. And what I want to share with you guys today is how, in really a 6-week period, we re-transformed the whole company, built a new product, tested it with the market, leveraged our assets, grew out of it, and eventually got acquired 11 months later in a completely different market, because we understood how to deal with adversity, deal with challenges in your business, and not just, be fearful. Now, here's the truth. Is from day one, when these moments happen, you got to give yourself permission to feel that. But you have to set a time in the near future. Maybe it's the next day at 6 p.m. Maybe it's that afternoon at 2 p.m. You need to set a time and a day where you're going to execute on the strategy I'm going to share with you first. Number one is you need to own it. Okay, you can't pretend like this isn't happening. When we saw that, we could have said, well, maybe it won't affect us. Maybe Facebook won't change their terms of service as quick. Maybe we can figure out a way to get around it. And the truth was we knew better, and we just owned it. And we were smart enough to talk to people that had been in our position before, and we didn't mess around. Number one is you gotta own it. Number two is you gotta really stop and assess where you're at. Too many entrepreneurs are like, challenge, move forward, overcome it, solution, boom. But they don't ever just take a moment to stop and breathe and say, what does this really mean for the company? What are our options at the moment? How could we go down these different paths and kind of evaluate how they could turn out? And I think that moment is really critical. As much as I love people that JFDI, I get it. We want to take action. We want to execute. You really need to stop and really assess. Number three is to reach out to people that have been there, mentors, advisors, folks that could help you get through those challenging moments, because getting that perspective is critical. Having advisors, mentors, peers that you can turn to when really you get kicked in the stomach, and be able to say, you know what, here's what I did in those moments, and here's the first, second, and third priority that we looked at, and here's how it ended up for our company. Having those people to guide you is just invaluable. So really reaching out is number three. Four is to make sure that you make a list. This list includes both things you can control and things you can't, because it is very tough for you to kind of set actions and priorities for your team and really forget that, you know what, there's a list of things you can't control. There's a list of things that are in your control that you can be accountable for, and having that clear distinction between those two lists will allow you to actually take action as fast as possible to fix the situation. Number five is to clear your schedule. I can't tell you how important this is. If you have a wife, kids, commitments, family, other activities you do outside of your work, and you don't realize that when these moments in your business happen, things that are just way bigger than you that you've never thought would possibly happen, right? I mean, I was talking to a restaurateur recently. He opened a new restaurant. He had several, but he opened this new restaurant, and outside the city decided to rip up the street and reroute traffic. Can you imagine you just spent $1 million opening up a restaurant, and all of a sudden the street gets ripped up and you have no traffic anymore? That's the kind of challenges I'm talking about. You need to really clear your schedule to give you the time to execute and focus and really look at that list of things you can control and start just knocking those out. So that might mean booking a hotel room for the next week to really build a war room. Could be doing that kind of concept inside your office in a conference room. But clearing your schedule from other commitments, other priorities, pushing things off, giving yourself that time to focus is going to be critical. Now, 6 to me is execute. It's about executing like crazy. It's about taking action. Once you know, you've talked to the people you've reached out to, you've given yourself the time to think about it, you've built that list of things that are in your control, you've scheduled that time or opened that time in your schedule to actually work, it's all about execution, making sure that you get things done and really that have impact. Don't get confused with activity versus producing outcomes. You want to solve the problem, you want to move forward, you want to overcome that hurdle. 7 to me is all about taking a moment to debrief, right? Because there's a reason why you ran into this issue. There was a series of decisions that you made that caused you to go down that path to be in that situation. If you don't take the time to stop and ask yourself, what could I have done differently? What new structures or processes or information could I have had to make better decision to not end up in that situation? And I think that's just a really important place to get to once you've solved the problem, after it's kind of like after the fact, you know, once the wound is healed a little bit, take that moment to debrief, fix it so that you don't find yourself back in this situation in 9 months, because I see entrepreneurs run into this all the time, and really find a solution so that you can up level to the next set of challenges. You know, I really think this is my, suggestion to you, that when you get into these moments, when you have a major customer that's upset with you, when you have your servers go down, when you get hacked, whatever the major challenge is, that's your opportunity in that moment to show people truly how good you are, right? And I never let entrepreneurs that I coach forget that when they've got issues with a customer, that it's in those moments that they get to prove and demonstrate and show to their customers how truly great they are as a business and as a leader. So I want to leave you with that. I want to hear from you below in the comments. Have you ever ran into adversity and how did you overcome it? How did you deal with that challenge? I know it could be a sensitive area to ask you about, but I'd love to hear your story below in the comments, and I'll share a few others of mine, because trust me, there's been dozens. As per usual, I hope this video finds you well, and I want to challenge you to live a bigger life and a bigger business, and I'll see you next week. Cheers. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel to get other tips on how to start and grow your business. I'd also encourage you to join my newsletter, where I share exclusive community contests, invites to events, and other free training videos. And if you want to watch some more videos, I got a couple queued up ready to go. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll see you next week.